guilty of crime.
Hello, everybody. What's up? Happy Friday. I am Jay with Guilty of Crime, and we're back talking about Stephan STERNS. And why are we talking about this monster's junk? All right, now, first of all, let me tell you real quick. So I'm reacting to this, right? Hashtag reaction, hashtag pinky winky. But I'm going to give you guys a little story first. And while I'm giving you this story, we're going to actually, I'm looking at my background. I'm like, that's not my background. So let me switch this up for y'all because this is not my background. I don't know what's going on here. There we go. Magic. And all right. What's up, everybody? Yeah, get the popcorn out. Get the popcorn out. I do like those big, giant. I'm going to leave it down there for a while so you guys can see yourselves. I can shout you out when I pin your comments today. But yes, hit the like button if you would, if you like how I present true crime and the channel here. Like, share, subscribe, and well, get your memberships, gift, Cash App, Venmo, all the stuff. All right. So quick story why we're talking about this. So now I know today we're reacting to a Gavin Fish video, but I gotta say, we've been talking about Stephan STERNS, Pinky Winky. Now I'm going to call it a cactus because from what I hear from Jennifer Coffendorfer, she says it has appendages hanging off the appendages that remind her of a cactus. And to bring it back to Gavin Fish, so I'm reacting to it, right? We're reacting to it here because he happened to do it first. But I'm going to tell you a story because yes, Jack Stormo, exactly. Because my mods and I, especially Carly and Bree, have been talking about the Stephan STERNS junk Pinky Winky cactus for a while. And why do we talk about that? Why have we been talking about that? Not because we're gross, but because we're over here, and I say we, right? Because it's a team, but Carly and Bree doing FOIAs, filling out paperwork, getting all the good stuff. I mean, we've gotten some audio that other people didn't have initially and things like that. So when they're filling out the FOIA, they're getting these pictures. We're getting pictures of Stephan STERNS without a shirt, possibly a Pinky Winky like everybody else, because Plunder, Grizzly True Crime, and Gavin Fish, I know they got the unedited version of Stephan STERNS junk. So us girls, of course, are talking about it. We want to see it so I can talk to you guys about it, right? So by the way, good job, all the ladies. Carly, Bree, thank you. Bree, at the end of the show, is going to drop her buy me a coffee. She's got one for her for all the hard work she does on this channel, Gavin's channel, and other channels. Also, I believe, and I don't want to overspeak, she can talk to you about this, but if any of you creators are on here or anybody that needs help with anything, I believe Bree is available to help out, and you can buy her a coffee too. Okay, so let's get back to the story. Thank you, Jesus Blanco. What's up? Shout out to you for being a new subscriber. Yes, Bree. So anyway, we're talking about the Pinky Winky, and this time Bree and I were talking about the Pinky Winky, and Bree says, well, let me just ask Gavin Fish. So, I mean, we were obviously having a conversation. I don't know what her conversation went like with him, but we didn't get the picture. We didn't get it. So then we're like, well, let's reach out to some creators and ask them, no big deal. Well, maybe it came off a little creepy that we were asking for, I call it pinky winkies, but maybe someone takes it as a dick pic. I don't know. But just so you know, here on Guilty of Crime, when we talk about Stephan Stern or the monster's junk, it's not bad. We really just have been doing lots of paperwork, filling out things. We talked to Jennifer Coffendorfer about it, and she called it a cactus. We've heard about it from Plunder. We've heard about it from Grizzly. We've heard about it from Gavin, and we want to see it ourselves. It's research, right? It's research. So anyway, we didn't get it. We've been described it. We're going to react to it today. If any creators have it that want to share, we're not going to share it with anybody. And if we don't see it, it's not the end of the world. But we wanted to do research on it. Sanctuary Behavioral Health and Wellness. Hello, Jay. Loving this channel. I'm a therapist, and you're spot on with the diagnosis of Jen. I work in the judicial system, and Jen is culpable and should be prosecuted. Well, shout out to you, Sanctuary. I'm glad you love this channel. Don't forget to hit the like button. I'm glad and I hope you're subscribed. So, story time with Jay. All right. So, that's my story. Yes, I love you guys are putting cactuses up there. So, thank you to all the mods for everything you do all the time. Petty is my number one girl that I go to when I want to really deep dive. Like the well, almost all my cases, I go to Petty for the real deep dive. She's amazing. Wolfpack, that's the dynamic duo, and Petty Mason. So, all you guys, shout out to all of you for everything you do. Bree says, I'm confused when I hear it looks like a cactus, and then others say it's normal. With moles or spots on it, it just looks normal. But Bree, that's the thing is we haven't seen it. So we're going to talk about it today. Okay, so you just answered my question. Why are we talking about this monster's junk? That's why, but that's not really why. The reason I'm talking about is because I really truly feel so bad for Madeline Soto for having to have to see that thing that maybe had appendages, maybe had a pink mark, maybe wasn't circumcised properly, maybe had moles, maybe had warts, maybe even he had STDs, how dirty and disgusting he was. So, in all fairness to Madeline Soto, rest in peace, young lady. And we will be here trying to get complete and utter justice because Maddie had to deal with that. We're making light of it because it's a tough situation. But that's why we're going to talk about it today. We're going to react to it. But I do want you to know that the OGs and the women on Guilty of Crime have been talking about Stephan Stern's junk, trying to figure out what people are talking about. Okay. So, that being said, and shout out to you, JoJo. I know you got a headache and your eyes are hurting. Sorry you're not here. That's okay. Just relax, chill out. I love your picture of Ed Gain. And Heaven says she got him with the flat tire. I agree. I agree. All right, y'all. Synth, not you. You're not included, Synth. You did not want to see the junk. But I mean, literally, when we're doing all this behind the scenes stuff, we want all the files, not part of them. And we don't want to have it edited. So, Carol or Bean, I know you don't want to see that. I wouldn't share that with my audience, but really, we've just been in this case so long that I feel like we should be able to see the junk pictures along with the pictures that we request on the FOIA. We should get all things Stephan Stearns, Jen Soto, Madeline Soto. So that's what we're talking about today. And of course, we're always going to say prayers for Maddie. Talk about Jen Soto. Let me get a drink. And you guys, that's why you guys are not. That's why you're not a content creator. You don't have to deal with that stuff. And JoJo, I hope you feel better. All right, so we're going to get into it today. I think I did my due diligence with my storytelling time, and let's get into it. I see everybody's comments. Thank you guys for being here on a Friday. Let's see if I can get to this. I don't know what happened. I had it on there, and of course, you know how it goes. I'm gonna open YouTube in another browser today also because I've been having trouble with gifting memberships. And it's like, when some money's burning a hole in your pocket. Well, I have memberships to give out because, well, we're going to be doing members only soon. And hopefully I can do 2 this month. That would be my Christmas present, my partial Christmas present, along with the giveaways to you guys. So, that being said, that would be nice if I can give some more subscriptions away today. I'll try to do that while we're watching this and listening to this video, etc. All right. And you guys know we do a lot of Gavin Fish on here. The reason we do a lot of Gavin Fish is because, well, he's an awesome creator, number one. And number two, Bree, our moderator, is also a mod for Gavin. So, of course, we go back and forth. Many times he shares information with us. And of course, when we have information, we share it with him. What's up, Randy B? Good to see you. Clar, I don't know if you're here yet, but what's up, girl? I've been talking to you off and on all day. Yeah, you guys, if you want my email, just go to guiltyofcrime.com. All my contact information is there. All right. Gypsy Rose says that D is fire. Yeah, I don't think any of the guys that she's with, D is any kind of fire. But, just saying, what's up, Auntie Ree? How are you doing? I'm glad I finally got the right consistency, the right toner, the right everything. So thank you. And I love avocado. Yes, Gavin is one cool dude. I agree. Shannon would love a membership, and I'd love to give membership. So we are a fan-funded channel. You guys know the spiel. Support the channel. Super stickers, super chats, all the fun stuff. And love you, Chumba. I'm making your comments really big today. All right, let's get into what's so unique about Stephan STERNS' package. All right, now we all have different perspectives, so let's listen to that.
Talking about little Maddie Soto. Now I want to get you guys going in the fishbowl here. If you're new to the channel, just use GF to get my attention in the live chat. We're gonna be using the live chat. I hope
we're not.
For ones,
we're gonna get into
like
this.
some repeated ones, specifically having to do with his little guy. Let's say
his little guy.
And so we're going to be getting into that. But before we get too irreverent, let's remember we do have a victim here. We have a 13-year-old little girl. And I say little girl because I am a dad, right? 13 is young. Oh my goodness. She's just beginning her life. Can you think back to when you were 13? And I know that we like to look back into our past and think about how grown up we were and so forth. But no, at 13, man, I was lost. I mean, I was doing Gen X kind of things, but also I had no idea about the danger of the world. I had no idea what
we
was
shouldn't
lurking around me. Fortunately for me, fortunately for me, I had a loving, caring family. Unfortunately for Madeline, she had a demon living with her. So Madeline goes missing on February 26th of this year.
A demon.
She didn't show up for school. Her mother's on-again, off-again boyfriend at the time, a man named Stephan STERNS, this guy, said that he dropped her off at school. But nay, she was not dropped off. Her body was eventually found like 4 days later in a field next to a stand of bamboo. So Mr. STERNS has been, not only has he been accused of her murder.
Now, keep in mind, folks, if I had the Stephan STERNS unedited version, I would be absolutely talking about Stephan STERNS, Pinky Winky, junk, whatever. But we're going to react to Gavin's today because the first people that put the FOIAs in and paid the money happened to get the unredacted versions. And they've been talking about it. We weren't even talking about it when Cough came on and said, man, it looks like a cactus. It's ugly. It's got appendages. So then I started thinking about Maddie and what she would think about that, how she felt. And I know there are certain times where he groomed her so much that probably she thought that she had love for this man, whatever. But gross is gross, right? All right, let's keep going. And if I ever do see this picture, I'll definitely tell you what I think. But for now, I'm going to take the cactus and keep a pink cactus in mind. And if you don't like that visual, then there you go. There's the killer potato. All right, so let's keep going.
But he has also been accused of abusing Madeline, the repeated SA over the course of about 5 years. And the way they caught him is he documented it. Okay. So that's where we are if you don't know about this case. All right. So little Miss Maddie. Okay. Are you guys up and awake in the live stream? You are, it looks like. Okay, great. Okay, so I'm going to take you guys over to the very first question. I'm not burying the lead here. Not going to bury the lead.
Now he's seen that, so that is funny. Kalista Cats that he's talking about that, but we do have those conversations behind the scenes. So however that conversation came up with Gavin and Bree, at some point we did ask him for a picture of it. Now I wasn't on the other side with Bree, so I don't know how she talked to him about it, but it came up and other creators are talking about it. And so yeah, Gavin's like, man, we're talking about this now. And that's what we're talking about. So it is interesting. The last person I thought that would react to the monster's junk would be him. And I'm very pleasantly surprised because it's something that we should talk about. Leanne Wilson, thank you so much. And it's also just funny. It's funny and brings light to it. It's not funny for little Maddie, though. And thank you so much for the gifted membership. Overprotected 11111. Say a prayer for Maddie at the same time. And let's get Gavin some new pictures of Maddie, huh? All right, let's press. Oh, and Kathy, a member for 7 months. Love you guys. Put your best comments down below.
We're going to go to the first question right over here. Okay. Now I want you to know I've gotten this question in many different forms. I've just chosen one. Okay. All right. This is the question. I heard somebody on a different channel mention that according to law enforcement, Stephan STERNS allegedly has a very peculiar birth defect involving his little guy, little Stephan, let's say. While some people have referred to it as a birthmark, this one particular channel called it a birth defect and suggested that he has a second vestigial artistic Siamese twin, tiny little pee-pee growing out of his main pee-pee. You've seen the photos from the interrogation. Question. Oh my God, I can't do this with a straight face, guys. I'm so sorry.
I think this is the best part about this show today is watching him turn red. He's bright red right now. Now, us women, it's kind of a natural conversation. I'm going to lump all you women in there with me because, you know, I went to high school. I did all the girl stuff. I still talk to my friends. They talk about their boyfriends, husbands, whatever. It's kind of one of those talks, you know, girls talk about those things. And so it's just like, hey, did you see his junk? Oh, what does it look like? Oh, is it big? Is it right? Whatever. Now, in the case of this, I really hope that Stephan STERNS has a pretty micro pinky winky cactus appendage. Gavin is absolutely blushing right now. So I think it's so funny. He calls it a pee-pee. We call it junk. We call it pinky winky. Yeah, Gavin's adorable. I'd love to have this conversation with him live. I don't know how he would react. I think he wouldn't be able to stop himself from laughing. So let's keep going and watch how funny he is.
Okay, question. How would you describe Stephan STERNS' anomaly? Very curious about this subject, solely because I heard somebody else refer to it as a second pee-pee. Wondering if you could give me a definitive answer. Guys, I'm here for you, okay? I'm here for you. I can give you the answer. Now, here's the deal. Let's see, who was it? The Osceola County Sheriff's Office released video of Mr. STERNS' interrogation where he was ultimately arrested and evidence was collected from him. So like buckle swabs, his clothing, swabs of his, like, well, pictures of scrapes and stuff like that on his arms. And then they stripped him completely nude and took photos of his genitalia. They did this because in the photos, we can read the reports. The reports say that the photos showing Madeline being abused show
true.
A very particular marking on the man's junk.
And if you guys remember, Jen Soto saw that picture she saw a position that he had put Maddie in, a particular position. Yes, justice for Maddie. And Jen Soto didn't recognize it. Now, I believe it's Stephan Stern's private areas, Pinky Winky, junk, whatever PP you want to call it. I believe it's probably different enough that Jen Soto would notice. So I wonder if she's just playing dumb. If she was playing dumb because maybe she didn't think that the pictures would pan out enough to actually see Stephan. I don't know. But absolutely, Jen Soto, hashtag arrest Jen Soto already. I mean, this is just absolutely ridiculous. How would you even call it? Poor Maddie 877. I just joined, and the first thing I'm hearing is Stephan Stern's anomaly, like a quiz. How would you call it? Yeah, you know what? It's in the reports. It's a thing that the creators are definitely talking about, and everybody has a different opinion.
That was, I guess, easily identifiable. Okay, so I don't know how to do this.
420.
Don't know how to do that. I'm just going to warn you.
Just
okay.
Come on,
just going to warn you.
it.
I'm about to show you. Okay, here it is.
Oh,
I'm terrible.
Yes,
I am terrible. I am terrible. I'm terrible. Okay, listen.
This is the best.
I am not an expert on human anatomy, but being a man, I would say that I understand what it is supposed to look like, and that's just what it looks like. It's just a regular old male genitals. That's what he's got. That's what it looks like. They do spend some time lifting it up and like stretching skin and take a picture of that freckle, take a picture of that mole, take a picture of that mark. But based on what I saw, no, there's not a Siamese twin down there. That might be a politically incorrect word. Conjoined twin. I apologize. No, there's none of that down there. Okay. So yeah, you can stop asking me for it.
Now, yeah, you can stop asking for it. Is it crooked though? That's a good question. But when they take the pictures, they're stretching it out. I don't think, and I'm gonna just use my own judgment here. I don't think he's circumcised. So if they're saying it that way, that they have to stretch it out to get certain pictures. Not only that, Stephan Stern's was dirty. Stephan Stern's is dirty. What am I saying? He's still alive. Stephan Stern's is a dirty, nasty predator. He's dirty. He's gross. He doesn't shower. He never cleaned his room. He's gross. So when you're not circumcised, you gotta keep it extra clean. So is it crooked? I don't know. I think most men's aren't perfectly straight, right? Again, I don't have anything to compare that to, but Gavin does.
For those photos or for that video. If you want to see, I'm stuck in a place where I'm like, I can show you guys. I don't want to do it on YouTube because I think I'll be deplatformed. But the video is available. And one of the people that reached out to me said, hey, here are the people that I know have seen the unredacted video. You're one of them. Can you please send it to me? I just am not comfortable. I don't care that it's out there. I just don't want to be the guy that put it out there. And so if you want to be the person that puts that video out there, then do a Freedom of Information Act request from I think it's Osceola County Sheriff's Office, and get it's like a 5-hour video and share it. But I am not going to put it out there. I'm not going to be giving it to anybody. Okay. Hopefully you guys are cool with the little joke that I just pulled there. But
that is funny,
yeah, yes. Here, let's get some of your comments here real quick. Gavin, is it a birthmark?
And this is why I say that as well. I'm glad he's going to tell us if it's a birthmark. Now, it could just be, right, we know that in your private areas, no two look the same. But for Stephan Stern's, when we saw a picture with him with his shirt off, everyone was like, you're burning my eyes. So we know that you guys don't want to see it. But it is curious that the creators behind the scenes are talking about it, isn't it? All right. Heaven says I haven't seen one in 2.5 years.
So the video is kind of hard to see because they get in the way of the camera. They
Yes.
like crouch down and they're holding up another camera or another phone that has ostensibly the picture of Madeline being abused, and they're comparing it. and then that part is blocked off, and then he's
don't-
blocked oftentimes by bodies being in there, like lifting and stretching and doing all the stuff. What they say is freckle, mole, birthmark. Those are the words that or phrases that they say. So get a picture of this, get a picture of the freckle, get a picture, that sort of thing. So yeah, Tony, I'm completely comfortable having these conversations. I just don't want to be deplatformed by YouTube. It's just something that I don't. Becca calls me
show the
a
picture.
troll. Bev Darigi says, just call it what it is, Gavin. But I don't want to be deplatformed by saying it out loud, guys. I'm sorry. I just, I'm comfortable saying the word. I just, I want to protect the channel. It's, okay, everybody just relax. Robin.
And you're absolutely right. They're all women. All the creators are women. I haven't had this conversation. I haven't had it with the man, put it that way. So it's all of us, and it's no longer available. That I don't believe it's available. It's all redacted now, so we can talk about it and really get into discussions about the case while we're at it. So let's keep going.
Robin says it's an awkward conversation, so make it fun. I say, yes, I have had fun with it, and I am a troll. I am a troll. You guys have got some funny things. Yes. Okay. So you guys are pleased that I poked fun a little bit, Mr. Stearns. It's not that I'm uncomfortable with it. I just don't want to be deplatformed. I'm selfish. That's what it is. Okay. Now, again, now that we've done that one, let's move on to some other comments and questions that have come in. Okay.
Yes.
Here's one that has come in from my contact form. If there are 1,700 images or videos of Maddie with Stephan STERNS, how could this have happened without Jennifer's knowledge? I recognize that there may be numerous photos of one incident, but the volume of acts has to be enormous. And if I understand correctly, some acts took place in Maddie's makeshift bedroom over a 5-year period, with both not working, both Jen and Jennifer Soto and Stephan STERNS not working. How could the behavior go undetected or accidentally exposed? No one seems to address this issue. Please speak to this on your show. So, I think that I have talked about this. First of all, I don't think it is possible. And I'm sorry to be a waffler. I go back and forth on this stuff. I have gone back and forth between it's completely impossible that she didn't know that this was going on, to talking with Beth Meeks, like, wow, maybe she just had some kind of cognitive disability. He was very good at gaslighting her. He was very good at controlling her. He was coercive, and he was able to get that done.
And I want to hear his thoughts, but I do have a thought about this. And many of you have emailed me about your situation, and you individually, I have somebody, Crystal, I won't even say her last name, wants to come on next week and talk about her being abused and her mother not knowing. Now, did she not know, or did she block it out because the benefit outweighed what would happen? Or should I say the benefit outweighs the consequences? And that's what I believe. If Jen Soto wasn't the mastermind, the puppet master, I mean, she was getting all the benefit, right? She was getting her, well, not all of it. She got her benefit. Stephan got his. And hey, if you tell or you stop it or you do something, you don't get a built-in babysitter, drugs coming at all times, and whatever else she got, having a man by her side to sleep in her bed, right? So I think it might have outweighed it. And I do, yeah, she was always sleeping too, but that's a whole other story. I don't think that she just slept through it. I think she ignored it. If she wasn't the one that was masterminding it, she definitely had to have just ignored it, because how could she not see 1,700 images? How could she not see Maddie's notebook? We have to look at our kids' notebooks for homework. She's got this in her notebook, drawing pictures and writing things about it. How is that possible? All right.
I would imagine that, I don't know that we need to know that for sure. We know that he has been charged with 60 counts. I'm trying to remember what those count. I'm trying to remember how those counts break down. Somebody tell me how those counts break down.
Most of them are just
I think I might even have the link down in the description so you guys can see. But anyway, yeah, I don't see how he could have gotten away with it without Jennifer's knowledge, unless there was some other mitigating factor, like a cognitive disability, having been gaslit for a long, long time, having been controlled coercively. And Beth brought up some very good points about how predators like Stephan Stearns, who are looking for victims like Madeline Soto, are also looking for guardians and parents like Jennifer Soto, right? That's part of the hunt, looking for the perfect prey and looking for a controllable guardian. And I think Beth was spot on that. Great question. Thank you very much. Let me go here. All right.
Well, that's a question.
A lot of the just so you guys know, if you reach out to me,
and I do like what he says here, I'll finish it for him. If you reach out to him or if you reach out to me, I get emails like this, and I did read Crystal's because I do want her on the show and I do want to read everybody's. But when I get emails like pages long that's giving me like all the details that happened, don't get mad when you say, Jay, I messaged you and you didn't get back to me. It's so hard to, sometimes I read them and I can't even respond because I don't know how to respond to, 20 questions in a 3-page thing. So just know that I probably got him and I'll get back when I can. He's going to talk about that too, but these are really sensitive topics with you guys. And I would hate to just answer back okay or yes or something like that, right? You write me, you pour your heart out and write this 3-page thing and I say yes, okay. I feel like that's more offensive than just not answering back at all. So all right, that's all he's gonna say. Let's keep going.
For example, and evidence in what are they, like hearings, things like that. So I don't know anybody with schizophrenia, but bipolar disorder is something that does touch close to home. So yes, the answer to that is yes. Okay. This emailer says, I do. I think at most she is guilty of not having more help around her, even though her mother and family seem to help a lot. You also heard from her first husband that Jen's mother had Jen sleep with her throughout her childhood and that it wasn't abnormal in her family. On top of that, when you listen to the interview between Madeline's bio dad and police, even he tried to sleep. So the bio dad was Tyler Wallace. She says, or he says, I don't know who this was. Even he tries to sleep with Maddie and his wife during Maddie's visit when she was 11 years old. Obviously, the child had difficulty sleeping on her own. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions, of course, but I would love it if you could explain to your audience why you believe Jen would be on trial and for what charges. And actually, I've actually done an entire video on that, probably since you sent this in, but I still think it's a really good, email. Is it a crime to be dumb? Is it a crime for a woman to trust some monster who can convince his own parents that the sky is actually purple to be manipulated by him? So are you wanting them to charge her with being manipulated by a monster? Okay. I think this is fair. Okay. This is a fair, especially if they didn't see my other videos on this. I don't know if we can call Jennifer Soto dumb is the word that you use, but I do think that there is some cognitive disability there.
I'm going to add on top of that cognitive disability. I'm going to add on top of that she really, I'm not going to blame the drugs, but I'm also going to say that she used that, I believe, to block out things that were happening in the house that maybe happened to her in the past and the things that were going on. Is she dumb? That question's out the door like a year ago, that she's not dumb. She was the head concierge, so she was running a bunch of things at the Disney like hotel or whatever for weddings and whatever she needed to get done. And she was a substitute teacher, which means she would have to take the training, as well as her mom always telling her, Yolanda, her mom telling her, never let a man be around your child. She engraved that in her. So she's not dumb. She's dumb, but she's not dumb like that. So cognitive dissonance, what he's talking about, yeah, to a degree. All right.
Yeah, Irene, I think I will skip that one.
Probably another pinky winky question.
So yes, we have and can do that, Mooney.
Manipulating.
Yeah, I hope you guys. Yeah, whatever. Okay, I'm gonna scooch down here a little bit. Okay, let's bring Maddie up on there. Diana is a personal friend of mine. Love Diana, one of the best. Says, Gavin, I can say from personal experience growing up in a not so great family that my mom never knew things happened to me until I told her. She never heard it or was present enough to realize. That is, I guess that is shocking to me, Diana, and sad. I'm trying to think, like, so I didn't have these kinds of things happening to me or around me when I was a kid, but I did do normal everyday kid things that they don't want their parents to know about. The way that we got away with it is my parents were gone. They were like at work or they were at some social function or something like that, and that's when we would do childish things. In this case, though, Stephan Stearns didn't have a job. Jennifer Soto was on disability. She didn't have a full-time job. So, I mean, she must have been there.
And she was there a lot. You guys all know that. I think she blocked things out. She wasn't manipulated. I would never use the word manipulated for her. I do believe that she used those DRUGS or meds to block things out and that she let many things happen. I do think that she was an easy target for Stephan in the beginning, the first year and a half of them not hooking up and him just being like, this is the perfect person to give me access to their daughter. Yes. And then afterwards, then yeah, Jen knew. Bogart says that she claims not to the many times that we've heard it, and but it's just her being so easy when she found out or wanting to see the pictures again just don't make any sense. All right.
There was a case where an entire family was living in a basement of a home on an inflatable mattress. It was 4 people, little ones, and a domestic couple that were living on a mattress. And then, I mean, that one ended in the tragic death of a little boy, and by the tragic murder of a little boy. But anyway, so I'm trying to think of, like, is there a social or is there a familial reason why Jennifer would think that it would be normal to sleep that way, especially in light of some of her cognitive disabilities that she may or may not have. I believe that she does. I don't know, but don't be sleeping with your 13-year-olds, guys. Don't be sending them to sleep with your boyfriend. Okay, it's really
yes, please don't.
It's really interesting. Okay, let's bring Maddie back up. Becca says, Gavin, not defending Jen, but I bet she put up a mental block to block it from her mind just to keep him in her life. People can block out so much and turn other cheek if they have to. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this earlier today. I have a childhood friend who, I mean, this has probably been 8 or 9 or 10 years ago. We had a conversation. So we were, 39, 40 years old. And we had this hey, do you remember that time when and he was like, no, I don't remember that at all. Oh, okay. But you remember when we did this or when we
Now, yeah, there's so many things. And Artemis Prime, I really want the next wave of information to come out sooner than later because a lot of these things here we've gone over, a whole bunch of times. And every time that I look at it or the crew looks at it or the mods look at it, we look at it and we see the same things a little bit differently. Absolutely. She told the officers that the gun was in, and I shouldn't even say that, you're not supposed to say that word, but the firearm was in the top drawer in the room. So we got the firearm in there, we got the tripod in there, we got a giant bottle of lube in there, and then we got a room that has a number 4 on it and looks like a brothel house, right? And on top of that, prescription DRUGS all over, and she even called the poison control at one time because she thought that they over medicated Maddie to the point where she would be poisoned. So yeah, DNA in there, whatever you want to say. We've looked at this over and over and over, and yet none of it is a criminal act enough to have solid evidence to convict Jen Soto on. Now, I got an email the other day from you, Synth, and you were like, what about this? What about Jen Soto getting arrested for not having a firearm put away? It wasn't in a safe because in Florida, you got to have a safe. You got to have it locked up. Well, it wasn't. There's a clip. There's bullets. There's a gun. Top drawer. Done. Nothing. They're not even blinking an eye at that. That is not what they want. That is not what anybody wants to arrest her on for a small charge of leaving a gun in a top drawer and a gun in a top drawer that didn't end anybody's life. It didn't go anywhere. It just was. But we're in Florida, right? Florida, you can have guns. It's not like California here where you go to get your gun license or your conceal and carry. And oh, sorry, that's been closed years ago. You can't do that. In California, it's terrible. Florida's a lot easier. Yeah. Stains on the sheets. And Stephan was washing the laundry that day. The only time probably ever that he ever washed laundry and cleaned up is when he was cleaning up. Now, notice in the chat, we have a big chat bar here. So do put your best comments down below. And don't forget, if you have the means to become a member, gift memberships, what have you, please do. And if you don't have the means, just hit the like, subscribe, and share. I'm going to try to give some memberships here in a second. I'm going to play this a little bit, and you guys can put your questions down there. I'll try to pin them up if you have any cool questions or anything that you just want to see. But you're the fifth person that said I look cute today. I appreciate it. Thank you. I don't know what I did different, but thank you, Jamila. I combed my hair for you all and I put on a fresh shirt. So I guess it paid off. Love you guys. Let's keep going. Let me see if I can give some memberships here.
We did that. Hey, remember the treehouse? Remember, Great America, those kinds of things. And he couldn't remember any of that stuff. And he basically had
Hold on. Not owning them, Foxy. I have no problem owning guns. AR-15s, 9mm, 22 mags, you name it, all right? No problem owning firearms. The problem is being able to carry them. The problem is getting in your car and being able to have a weapon where, right below you where you can grab it. Any of that. That's the problem. And thank you guys. You guys are amazing. Jeep Sahara, I need to get more white things. I love that dog pic. All right. Yeah, you guys are being too kind. I'm going to wear white more often. Yes, I took a shower especially for you guys, which Stephan STERNS doesn't do. And yes, Lauren, I am definitely packing, but it is not easy here in California because you can get in trouble for not having a conceal and carry, and they don't give them out. But yes, I do pack. I do think Florida is an open carry like Colorado. You put that shit on the dashboard and say, look, I've got the biggest gun, and that's not like that around here. So that being said, in Florida, they don't care that you have a 9mm in your top drawer that is not in a safe, that you're going to get a fine probably. All right, let's keep going. And thank you guys. It's the sun. I'm out in the sun. You see the sun behind me? Let me give membership.
He said that he had very little memory before senior year of high school. And from his perspective, he had been traumatized as a child. And so it's possible that he put up those same kind of blocks. And we don't need to, Becca, I really appreciate this comment because what we need to be defensive of, what is the truth and what is justice, right? We all want justice for the girl on our screen right now. We want justice for her, whether that means whatever justice is, we want that. The other thing that we probably each feel is a sense of schadenfreude, right? This sense of prison justice, or the idea that people who do bad things, the desire to have bad things happen to people who have done bad things. That I think that we should try to back off from as much as we can. And so we don't need to worry about, are we defending Jen or are we defending whomever, as long as we're seeking after truth, we're seeking after justice. That sounds so corny, but that's the way I feel. Great comment. Jessom says, Gavin, will there be a trial? And if so, is there a date? There are 2 trials set because there are 2 cases. One is in February, one is in September. Those are very unlikely to actually happen in February or September.
Thank you,
but
Gavin.
they do have them on the calendar. The first one is the SA trial, and the second one is the murder trial. But I think that we're many years out from a trial.
Thank you. And yes, I can't say that enough. Every time I go on a live, I get somebody in chat that's not on here often like we are. We're all in this case, just obsessed with every detail of it because we want to see justice. So every time I come on here, someone asks me about the trial, and I dig up the dates again because I don't remember them by just remembering them. And I say, here are the dates, but it's more than likely not going to happen for a capital case to go to trial. Hold on. I'm trying to gift you guys memberships while I'm talking. And it's not going to happen 2 to 5 years. And then it's going to throw a wrench in it. if they get Jen as a witness, and they have a huge witness list. So throw that out. It's not, the trials aren't going to happen more than likely next year. All right. Thanks for saying that, Gavin. And thank you, Leanne, for the Guilty of Crime membership. That's what I'm trying to do right now. All right. Miss Karma will be coming to haunt his dreams. We hope so. And we hope he stops getting all that commissary and the root beer candy. I'm just so, ugh. I really want Stephan just to get the death penalty and Jen to get the maximum. I don't think she'll get a death penalty ever unless they find something really big. All right.
Got some great. Nick the Booksmith, Gavin, controllable indeed, especially considering Jen and Stephan were broken up at the time, right? She told Maddie to go to bed upstairs with a guy she used to date. What was his excuse for even coming around? Yeah, it's weird. That is a great comment. Mooney, though, says, Gavin, I think Jennifer Soto has learned helplessness and has also learned to play the system. And Mooney, though, it can all be true at the same time, right? She may have learned how to get what she wants by manipulating people from her apparent helplessness, and she may have also learned to play the system. At the same time, she may have been manipulated by Stephan STERNS. It's hard to say. Great comments, guys. Oh my goodness. You guys are awesome. Let me just Kimberly Reyes says, Gavin, I think Jen should be charged, but instead of jail, maybe a psych hospital. Yeah, I was in I was covering a trial for work. What was that, last month or the month? I think it was last month. And actually I have my notes here. It doesn't matter. It was pretty recently. And the jurors had the ability to choose whether or not, like, either way, if he was guilty or not guilty, it didn't matter. He was going to get, he was going to be institutionalized. Right. So yeah, I think that might be a good idea. Good job, Kimberly. If Jen wanted to keep Stephan around, then why were they broken up? Yeah, what she said was that he was.
All right, and we'll get back to that in a second. She wanted to keep Stephan around, but guess what? Stephan was dating other or approaching other women. There were times that I'm sure him and Jen saw differently, times where him and Maddie butted heads, and because we've listened to times where there were other women that he was approaching, and I believe was approaching to groom, because he talked to one of his exes and said, hey, I sleep next to this Maddie girl and she needs the cuddle, but one morning I woke up and I had a wood, and and he was trying to reel her in, like to see what access he can get, and she didn't fall for it. Now Jazz Dobie says, I really hope for trial to have Jen on the stand for prosecution and tear her apart, but it'd be dreadful for the jury to be exposed. I think it's going to happen. I think she's definitely going to be a witness. She's going to be a witness. There's no way about it. She's on that witness list, and that's the whole reason why they're doing what they do with her. They want her to be a witness to give them all of what happens. So it probably will go to trial, Jazz, and the jury's going to have to see all the things.
Was still her best friend. That's what she told police. It's pretty interesting. Okay, let's go back to over here. All right. Beth got some love in the old emails that I got, guys. Beth is awesome. We need to have Beth back for sure. Okay.
And just to speak on that, Beth Meeks is who we're going to approach next to see if we can get her on our show. Now, when she was on Gavin's show, I still haven't got to react to that, but a lot of people didn't like her answers, but she wasn't targeting them towards Jen and this case specifically. It was just the questions he was asking her, and she didn't have all the background to it. So she was answering like if there was an abused woman or a woman that was groomed, that's the answers were the way they were coming. So I'd love to have her on the show. And this is a good question. Did I actually catch a live? Blue Plum, you did. Happy Friday. Good to see you. Hit the like button for all of you people that are just coming in, and subscribe if you haven't. All right. Woman guest you had recently. All right. Yeah, this is a good one. Let's listen.
Woman guest you had on recently, which was Beth, the abuse expert, said some things that I had never heard. She was insightful, especially about the mind of the abuser. I bet STERNS does blame someone else. And it was astute of your guest to be aware of not helping his cause with anything she said about Jen. Beth was amazing. My guess is the scum, talking about Mr. Stearns, I guess, does not feel responsible at all. This was evident when he told his dad on the phone, I didn't start it. Kudos to his dad for not supporting that nonsense. This is a smart woman who knows her topic. Man, she sure is. Beth
Yeah.
is an impressive woman indeed. And if you guys did not see that video, go back. You'll see this picture on the thumbnail. And it's a great conversation that I had with her. Okay.
Give her.
This one says, I missed the live on Stephan Stern's poem for Maddie Soto by 20 minutes. What do you make of the fact that the poem looks like each letter was retraced several times? It looks like he kept retracing the letters over and over multiple times. I never do that in a handwritten letter unless I want to emphasize a point or my ink runs dry. It's obvious to me that while he didn't retrace every letter perfectly, there was still ink in the pen he used to write with. Therefore, why did he obsess over it and keep tracing the letters?
And we did talk about that before, you guys. It looked like he used a pencil, even though now I think he used a light pen and then inked over it, because I really do think in his sick mind, he thought him and Maddie were a thing. They were a couple. They were together so long. He wanted her as his possession, and he got what he wanted. He didn't want her life to be taken. And that's why I say Jen Soto, I believe, is more culpable. And it was a jealousy thing. Now, Wolfpack, him taking a plea would mean that the prosecution would have to give him a plea deal. And I'm not sure, Wolfpack, that they're going to offer him any kind of plea. I do think they want to give him the death penalty, so they'd have to offer that. And I'm not so sure that they would. But yeah, like he wrote it, Jamila, when we showed that poem, it looked like, and it was him. They found it inside of his Bible, and you can see real lightly there was light ink, which I thought was a pencil, and then he re-inked over it perfectly because that was his love poem, in my opinion, to Maddie. So good question. I'm going to go a little bit forward because we've gone over this. All right, let's go.
Counseling adult survivors of childhood SA, holding a BSc in psychology and counseling, graduate member of the British Psychological Society and accredited counselor, as well as student of MA in crime and justice. The advice given by your guest Beth Meeks to lie was sensible and important. Let me pause there for a second. Beth gave some advice that I had never heard in my life, and the advice, if I can just kind of, I'm not going to get it perfect, right? But so if I could characterize what she said that it is okay to lie to get yourself out of scary situations, or get yourself out of situations where you feel uncomfortable or unsafe. It is okay to say things like, no, I'm not going with you. My friend is going to be here. Or it's okay to find a safe looking other person and join the group and say, hey, God, it's okay to go against social norms in order to keep yourself safe. And I'm so glad that she gave that advice. Okay. This person.
Oh, I did it. Jen Bustamante, if you're here, thank you so much for the $5 Venmo. I appreciate you so very much. And thank you all to all the people that support me on my Venmo and Cash App. I always send you a heart and say thank you. So appreciate it.
Person says, I would go further than that, as sometimes it requires an extraordinary response. Perhaps this is more important in the UK, where politeness is a big social convention, but I tell women that they do not owe the potential or actual perpetrators anything at all, not even politeness or courtesy, being civil or reasonable. And when I read this, I was like, wow, what a great comment. And even since then, I've had conversations with women I love, my daughters, my wife. You do not have to be polite ever. Scream, yell, make noise, get attention anytime there is that sense of.
That's fantastic. I do remember hearing that on the show, and I have said that to my daughter. It's not what you do. I don't care if it's my mom's boyfriend. You don't need to be polite and go sit on his lap and say grandpa or hug him or let him touch you or let anybody touch you or be any of that. Kick them in the nuts if you feel like they touched you wrong, is what I say. You're welcome, Jen. Thank you. All right. Appreciate you. This is great advice. Great advice. Back in the day, kids were told to be polite to their, they have older sister and the older sister's married, and you be polite to your sister's husband, or you be polite. No, you don't. You be polite as they are to you and keep their hands off of you, keep their distance away from you. Don't come in your room when they're sleeping. None of that stuff. My mom, Mama Pearl, was abused, and that's exactly how it happened. So, yeah, none of that shit. Graciela, J, hashtag J for president. What's up, pretty lady? How you doing? I sent you an email. Yes, absolutely. We're mama bears around here. And Krista says he DRUG'd poor Maddie and had his way with her. Ugh, can he just turn in, roll into the grave? I wish. It might be too easy, though. All right, let's keep going.
Of that spidey sense, right? That spidey sense that we all have that says, get out of this situation. The moment you feel that,
Yes.
there is no need to adhere to social norms. And
Teach your
I don't know if you guys
kids,
read
all kids.
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo series, the Lisbeth Salander series, or saw the movies. They did a Girl with the Dragon Tattoo in English, and then they did all of them in Swedish, and they're all terrific. But the books, guys, are fun. But in Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, one of the main characters, Mikkel, goes into a dangerous situation because he didn't want to be impolite. And the murderer points that out to him once he's got him in his trap, right? So don't be trapped like that. And I know that's like a fiction. I know it's a fiction book, but it remains true nonetheless. You do not have to comply with social norms when you've got that tingle, when you've got that sense that you're in danger. When you've got that sense, listen to it.
Or if
Make
you're
as much noise
children,
as
you
you
feel
have
like
to.
your
Yeah.
children.
Great email. Thanks for sending that my way. Okay.
And nowadays, so many times I go and I click onto YouTube and I see a teacher, an art teacher, not even the typical like gym teacher or tennis coach or any of that, just a regular old teacher that is a little too cool for himself. The girls kind of like him and he takes advantage of the girl that's quiet or polite. So yeah, great book. Yes, great movies too. Not as good as the book, of course.
All right. I've been following you for a few weeks and watching all the Maddie Soto postings you upload on YouTube. The subject of predators looking for prey has started to hit home as of recently. I have a longtime friend of 20 or so years who is single with a 4-year-old. She recently got engaged to a man who's in prison for being these things that you guys can see. Okay. Me and another friend have tried talking sense into her, and we just can't get through to her. Furthermore, we believe she's allowing her daughter to FaceTime with this predator. We think he has a contraband cell phone. He's doing a sentence of 100 years, but still managing to groom women while locked up. And it's disturbing.
I wonder why she's emailing, and I wonder if she could do something about that. That's interesting. But I want to go back quickly, and we'll go back to that to Jen. Anybody have a motive theory? I know the pregnancy rumor. Any other thoughts? Now, I took that off the table on my channel from me, Jen. I don't think that, for my opinion, I don't feel like the pregnancy was the motive, because nowadays you can just go get an abortion. It's pretty easy, even on the black market, if you wanted it. On my channel, just me personally, now you guys can drop stuff in chat, but my personal thing is jealousy. I believe, and there's 333 people in here, so say a prayer for Maddie. I believe that jealousy, either on Stephan STERNS' part, he was absolutely jealous that Maddie had a crush on a boy, possibly, or Jen being jealous of the relationship with Stephan. So the number one thing, if it's all Stephan's fault, then I think that was a big motive. That, and Maddie didn't want it anymore. All right. So if you guys want to drop any comments in chat, go ahead on your theory.
I don't understand. I mean, that might be something that we get Beth back on to talk about, this idea of the attractiveness of somebody who is in prison for horrible things, why some people are attracted to that. I Tell me if that's something that you guys think that we ought to talk about on the show. I think that would be a good conversation. Let's bring Maddie up again, and let's go over to your comments here. Give me a second while it refreshes.
That too.
Okay.
That too.
Let me hide this. Calgal, Gavin, what did Jen think about Stephan's boxers being in Maddie's room?
Right?
I don't remember anything. I don't remember her saying anything about that. So I can't say. Yeah.
Okay, I'll pause it on that because you guys have to remember the boxers thing, right? You guys have to remember the boxers thing, and I'll post that up while we're going. When we were looking through the pictures and we saw Maddie's room and we saw something on the floor that we thought was slime on the floor or possibly vomit of some sort. We saw Stefan's boxers right on the top of the basket, hanging halfway in and halfway out with her clothes. So why is that okay? Does that I mean, if you got those on top of that, are they getting dressed in the same room together or undressing in the same room together? So yeah, you guys saw that, and yeah, absolutely, Stephan Stearns, I believe, is still obsessed with Maddie. Hence the love poem note. All right, yeah, Randy B, nasty ass boxers. All right, guys, remember. Get yourself a membership. I see a lot of people not in green today. If you can, get a membership, gift a membership, all that. And thank you guys. I appreciate you. Let's keep going.
Yeah. Great comment though. Gavin, again, she put her and her little girl.
Yep.
She put her little girl in the middle of her and her boyfriend. That's just gross. It is kind of weird. Barbara Corey Marta says,
Weird.
Gavin, the best part was the female officer that said to him, if you get squirrely here, you're going to end up down on your face real quick. Yeah, she says something like, you're going to eat carpet, right? You get squirrely, you're going to eat carpet. I thought that was pretty rad too. Thank you for these.
Gavin says a little bit weird, and I love you, Gavin. I'm going to say it's a lot weird. It's really weird, especially the way somebody worded it and said Jen was sleeping with Stefan and she had Maddie in the middle at all times, right? Always Maddie in the middle, never her and Stefan cuddling. And even the roommate said that it would be Maddie in the middle, Jen on one side, Stefan on the other, Jen off to the side saying she's having hot flashes or her medication's making her hot, and putting Maddie in the middle, knowing that she's not having sex with the guy that's her ex-boyfriend at many times. And for the first year and a half, them not even sleeping together. Thank you, Gracie. Or Gracie, $10 super chat. Jen Soto is disgusting. So many more children are suffering now. This instance due to horrible parents and families. So twisted. We need to say something the minute we suspect anything weird. And I think all of us agree with that. And we all do. We're not like Jen Soto. None of us here are. Thank you, Patty. I need a bedtime story from you. I need you to come on and read soon. And Sin, thank you so much for the 5 and then the 1 petty 6 memberships more. You guys are going to be green soon. Thank you. All right. Don't put your kids in the middle and don't let your kids sleep with any man, woman, anything.
Super sticker Shirls. I appreciate that. That is wow, that is your 5th super on a live stream. Thank you very much for doing that. I appreciate that. Oh, Elizabeth is saying maybe he was trying to memorize that poem. Maybe so. Maybe so. Great observation.
I think they were. I think Yolanda was. Yolanda.
Yeah, I try not to be overly
Stephan
sensitive,
Stearns.
but I like you guys. I don't want to hurt your feelings on purpose. I'm a person that cannot be offended. You know, well, it doesn't matter. Like I'm a person that you can say anything to. It does not offend me. But I also want to be respectful of you guys. If you have different things,
I agree.
different feelings about things, it's pretty easy for me to try to be sensitive to those things.
Right,
that if there are other victims, they will be able to have that courage to speak up eventually. Criddles, and I'm sorry it came around this way. I got to fix that somehow. She says, thank you for the fun yet direct streams about.
And Criddles is on our channel too. So Criddles, if you watch this, thank you for supporting Gavin's channel and mine. Synth member for 5 months. Guiltyofcrime.com. Meet the crime mods. Yeah, go to guiltyofcrime.com when you're done. Go check it out. There's cool things on that. Go to the mods page. Meet the mods. You guys will see who the mods are that are behind the scenes all the time. And I do try to get them up here, by the way. I always offer for them to come up and to go on the camera with me when we do some certain collaboration streams. So far, the only one I've gotten Carly one time and Synth. Synth is, yeah. Right now, also Deb's come on, or Petty Mason, but I think she talks, hasn't showed us yet. So go meet the mods.
These subjects, you deliver it awesomely. Well, thank you very much, and thank you for the super chat. Let's keep going. Zach, I have to stay home and wait for the cable repairman. Yeah, it's perfect. Cheryl says, Gavin, I have a bipolar sister. Even as an adult, she can be stubborn, conniving, and manipulative. Jen gave in with Maddie, and as a parent, she should have held her ground. So sad. Yeah. I agree with you. And both things can be true at the same time, while also recognizing that she probably was manipulated and coerced. Could be. Edna Crabapple. Gavin, two of my uncles are schizophrenic. When medicated, they're a little weird, but mostly normal, maybe a bit subdued, but still who they are. You know what? I know that I just said that I don't know anybody who's schizophrenic, but if schizophrenia is just a little weird, but mostly normal, I mean, maybe my father-in-law is schizophrenic.
Gavin's cracking himself up over here.
I say that with tongue planted firmly in my cheek. I love my father-in-law.
Probably.
Yeah, I think with the right therapy, schizophrenia is something that you can live with, right? And be and successfully so. Lauren C. Gavin, the attractiveness of predators has been playing out so eerily well in the Wade Wilson case. It would be great to understand it more from a clinical.
I don't even want to know about the Wade Wilson. I'm going to go past that in a minute, but yeah, go meander. And trigger warning here, because I'm going to get back to that since we have 340 people in chat. We talked about the name of this is Stephan STERNS. Why are we talking about this monsters junk? Has any of you seen that? I know sometimes we have content creators on here or people that are no content creators. Let me know if anybody's seen that. Right now, I've gotten the perspective from Gavin that Stephan STERNS junk is just normal because he's seen it, cough, seen it, and says that it looks like a cactus. And from what I hear of, Plunder didn't really talk much about it, and Grizzly said it's a little bit odd. I don't know. She didn't call a pencil, but said pink. Maybe pink in the description. So anyway, trigger warning for you guys. If anybody has seen that or heard anything, that's kind of what we're talking about today. Maybe I'll get to see that picture at some point. I promise not to share it with you guys. All right.
Aspect. Great comment. Great comment.
Jojo has a headache.
Gavin, someone had said before that they live about an hour away from Kissimmee. I also live about an hour and a half away from there, and there's absolutely no coverage of this case anywhere, which is shocking to us. But we all live in this YouTube bubble where this is something that we care deeply about, right? And this is something that one of the prosecutors that I talked to, that I've brought up on the channel pretty recently, said, right, that most people don't think about these things. Most people, in fact, most people don't even watch the local news. So yeah, it is shocking that so many people are completely unaware of this case, but it's also good in that I think they'll be able to find a good jury. I mean, okay, let's pause there and let's go back to here. Let me go to the next one. Okay, as far as Maddie Soto, I have a feeling that Stephan STERNS was seen on Hickory Tree Road while he got the flat tire and was unable to leave Maddie's body. He left at 3 a.m. in Jen's car to drop the body where he initially intended to do so. That's why the dogs barked at Jen's car and sensed a dead body scent. I think Maddie was still in his trunk. He got spooked when he made eye contact with the man who gave the tip seeing Stephan STERNS on Hickory Tree Road and left after changing the tire only to return late at night to leave the body. Just thought, hey, that's just as possible as any other theory. I had wondered why. I thought that maybe the scent of his clothing having carried or his person, I know he took a shower or changed his clothes, right? But the scent maybe was still on his person, and that's why it went to the car. I had wondered if he had already dumped Maddie's body and went back to try to maybe cover it or something. I don't know.
I think
by the way, I saw that
spend time.
Gazella was talking today about,
it's Gizella. He's talking about Grizzly Crime. Don't want no short prick, man. I know you guys know that song. Eeny weeny, teeny weeny. We're gonna say that about Stephan STERNS since Gavin called it a PP. All right, now I think Stephan STERNS went back to her body to spend time with her. I really do think he cruised back there, like Jen said. He was going out and cruising around to go make sure that nothing had disturbed the body and spend some time. I'm glad you guys know this song. All right. That's what I think. I don't think that it was in the trunk all day. I think that would have been way too bold. And he knows that at that point of having to go pick up Maddie at school and do all the things, that would have been way too close to the edge on that. I do think he dropped her off and then went back and spent time with her.
Stephan STERNS using drugs and stuff like that. I watched her coverage of that. I had that on in the background while I was working. And one of the things that she talked about was, oh my goodness, my thought just left. Gazella was talking about, what were we talking about? Dead body, the Hickory Tree
Yeah,
Road, changing the
exactly.
tire. Just a thought.
Yeah,
Dang it, now I can't
exactly.
remember. It was something that she mentioned early on.
Ding, ding,
I
ding,
guess I'll
ding,
come back to
ding.
it. I completely lost my train of thought. Yeah, it's possible that oh, I know what it was. She was talking about rigor mortis, and rigor mortis
That
takes between
too.
0 and 8 hours to set. And I mean, yeah, that's a pretty good guideline, but it's really not not set, but for the stiffening to begin. There's so many other variables in that, including the temperature and all sorts of things, right?
Yes.
I think that Maddie was killed closer to the time that he was seen on camera dumping
Me
stuff
too.
in the dumpster. And the
Me
reason
too.
that I think that is because her body moved in um in the car. Like, she is seen in different positions in the car. So that is not rigor.
It's not rigor, but also that her mouth was still, it was already starting to, I mean, it was just wide open. Now, I've seen pictures of bodies that are deceased. I've never seen them in person, but I could imagine that when she was strangled. I don't want to be too graphic. Again, trigger warning here, that, her mouth could have been open at some point, or she could have been trying to fight back and scream. I don't know exactly how her jaw got that way, or it was so noticeable that when the officers saw the picture, they knew that she was already passed away. But for the rigor to set in, the rigor to not have set in yet, I always think it was closer to the morning. Many people think that at 11:49, when Stephan was going back on that app, that he had done it already. And I don't think so. I think it was close to the morning. And rigor only lasts for a while, and then the body changes to something else, and it gets stiff though. So I don't know. You probably know more than I do. Yeah, gasping for air. Again, trigger warning. Rest in peace, Maddie. Oh God, brutal. I just want Stephan Stearns and whoever's involved in that. If it's Jen, let's prosecute her to the fullest as well. I'd like to see her get the death penalty just for being a bad mom.
And I don't, why did I get off on this tangent? I don't know, but it's a little bit gross. But anyway,
Yeah, trigger
the
warning.
the only experience I have is in assisting our county coroner. So I I have experienced what rigor feels like, what it looks like at different times. Also in animal husbandry, working on a farm, I know what it looks like, what it does. I don't think that any rigor mortis had really set in, or if any had, it was just barely a little bit, and that is an indication to me that it was about 7 o'clock or so that Maddie
Close.
was killed. That's what I think. I know that was like a tangent, but that's what I
Yes.
was thinking about. Anyway, okay, I should say just a thought, just like this commenter did. Okay, here is why I think Jen was allegedly in on selling her daughter to Stephan and was probably in on the sale of videos and or photos of
Yes.
Madeline to the dark web for profit.
Yes.
So Jen told the police she asked Stephan to come to help her take care of Maddie because she had a new job
Right.
and she wanted to see her daughter more.
Right.
Sunday, Jen worked until 10:30 p.m. and Maddie was 13 and had already taken her shower and done her nighttime routine. When I was 13, I was babysitting other people's kids. I did not need a babysitter. Also, Jen did not have work Monday or Tuesday. Her doctor's appointment on Monday was not until 10:30 a.m., but she could have taken Maddie to school on Monday. Stephan had zero reason to come to their place to help Jen. Jen had zero reason to ask Maddie and Stephan to sleep together in room 4 since she had 2 days off after Sunday in which she could have caught up on sleep. All of that info plus Jen's Woody Allen story equals, in my opinion, Jen trafficked her kid to Stephan and cashed in on whatever sales of CSAM they sold. I think that is a compelling argument. I think it's
so.
compelling, and it's a great comment. Okay, just with regards to, let me switch these things up here a little bit. No, where'd I go? This one. There we go. Just with regards to the Madeline Soto case, wouldn't the police be able to go through both Stephan's and Jen's bank accounts to see if there were any large or regular cash deposits? And also, Grizzly True Crime did a vid. Shout out to Grizzly. And revealed that Stephan's father had an affair. Just this whole character is dodgy. And on your video today, he was asking lots of questions about how far they looked back on the hard drives, etc. Why is he so worried? It's a bit odd. I don't know that he was worried. This is Chris Stearns that we're talking about. I don't know that he was worried. I think that he was just trying to gather more information.
I do think Chris Stearns knew about the PORN in the hard drive, though. I really, truly, absolutely do. I believe that the mom knew that Stephan was into kinky things. She paid off friends when he was when he was filming Roommates. She paid him off to get him out of trouble. She saw the half body, and that's not really kinky. I mean, they sell those half dolls for a reason, but I think she knew what her son was into. I think Chris absolutely knew what his son was into and knew what was on that hard drive. Absolutely. And hello, sassy Cassie. I'm glad that you caught alive, and I'm glad that you made it better late than never. But yes, I do believe that both of his parents knew what he was into, and Chris especially probably knew exactly what PORN was on that hard drive. And if you're watching this, Chris, yes, you made a monster and you didn't turn the hard drive in.
I think he was curious. But the beginning of your comment, yeah, I think that there probably is a forensic accountant or 2 or 10 going through the at least Stephan's financial records, maybe Jen's as well. And I think that they would be able to find that, even if there are cryptocurrencies. The only thing that would be really difficult to trace would be cash.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm following Maddie's case from Cairo. Pretty awesome. I just watched your last video on YouTube regarding Stephan Stearns and his parents regarding Jen Soto being institutionalized. I just wanted to let you know that Chris Stearns was in law enforcement, right? So he's very much aware of what's happening in regards to his monster son, as well as that all jail phone calls are recorded. I feel like he's truly disgusted by what Stephan has done, but at the end of the day, the monster is still his son. Mom is a different story, 100% enabler. This was very obvious in the interview they did on, I guess that was on Hidden True Crime. We watched pieces of that here on that channel. It was a great interview. They did a really good job.
Thank you, Leanne.
I think that's a great comment. I don't have much to quibble with at all. And thanks for watching. Let's see, I've got
that's a comment.
A couple more here. Okay, abusers are extremely possessive of their victims, and that is exactly why Stephan took Maddie's life, says this one. If you read through Chris and Deborah Stern's interview in the supplemental 25-page from Officer Morris, Deborah said Madeline called Stephan on February 22nd, and that after that call, he was very upset for a few days. I believe in that call was Madeline telling him it was over because of her crush on Miguel. Stephan acted as if it was cute in conversation with Jennifer to not alert her suspicion. But trust me, he was losing his mind. The night he killed Madeline, he believed he would change her mind and she would choose him. When that didn't happen, he killed her. Also,
I do think that's a good theory right there. And Chumba, real quick, the GoFundMe, I believe she definitely used that for her lawyer. It was fraudulently taken. That GoFundMe was for Maddie's funeral services, and it wasn't used for that because they donated that, and she was cremated. So, but on this note here, I think that's a good possibility. Do you remember when Stephan was talking about when he was in the interrogation room before the cops had the gotcha moment? He was saying that he was so stressed out the week before, but he was saying it was about his finances. Now, Stephan didn't have any finances because his parents paid for everything. Jen paid for the rest, and then whatever else he was doing, selling his stuff or pictures, what have you, toys. I do believe that Maddie, she wasn't an adult. So I don't think she said to him, "Hey, Stephan, there's a new guy in town. I'm breaking up with it." I don't think it went down like that. But I think they talked about things, and, she was wanting to cool it off, and he wasn't living there anymore. He had lost the control with Maddie. She wasn't on her medication for a whole month. She was doing good in school. She had a crush on the boy. So I think all the things combined is a big motivator. And yes, we do want Jen locked up. Absolutely. No, she didn't go to the funeral. They had one in the very beginning, private, for the family before they even told Tyler. So she didn't go to that. She went to the private one, but she didn't go to the other one. She didn't go to the vigil. She didn't go to the memorial. None of that. Yeah, control is a huge issue. So this is a very good theory.
I'm confident Jennifer did not know. She was just too lazy and selfish and drugged to use any normal woman's intuition. Also, in that same report, there was a mention that Stephan just started seeing another woman. I believe it was Chris that said that. I don't remember that. Anyway, I can guarantee you that woman had at least one daughter. When we age out to the sickos, they find the next single woman with the young girls.
Yes, Maddie was cremated.
I don't remember the conversation about the other woman, but that doesn't mean that it isn't there. I'm not remembering that. And yeah, I appreciate the comment. Not a lot to quibble with that we haven't already quibbled. Quibbled? If you're British, do you say quibbled? I don't know.
That too.
Okay, last comment says, I did not know that Jennifer sent a text after the detectives left the room to get her some water. The text was to Stephan's father telling him that Stephan needed a lawyer and that detectives had found images on Stephan's phone of him in SA with Madeline Soto. By the way, this I think is in reference to a video that Plunder did where she synchronized the videos, the interview of Jennifer Soto and the interview of Stephan STERNS. Anyway, right after the detectives came.
Anyway, this is why we love all creators. This is why creators like Gavin Fish and I and Plunder and Grizzly and the new one Grish on the street, right? That's why all of us can have plays off of each other's. We can start conversations, we can share information. None of us should feel like we're a threat to each other or other content creators. So I do appreciate Gavin. I love how he's shouted out Grizzly a few times and didn't glaze past the comments, talked about Plunder, and we're putting his stuff on here. We've got crossover people that are subscribed, and hello, Michelle, good to see you. Yeah, absolutely. Grish is the new kid in town, and I can't wait until we get part 2.
Came back in, she had lost interest in seeing the images she had been shown earlier and instead wanted to talk about the video footage of the figure by the church near Madeline's school. I think you were right about Jennifer. She did know about the abuse and allowed or facilitated it. So yeah,
I did a timeline.
I mean, I waffle back and forth, man. What Beth talked about was compelling. Whether Jen knew or not, had the ability to know or not,
Yes.
it's pretty compelling, and the answer probably lies somewhere in the middle. All right, let's bring up little Miss Maddie here. Looks like we got a super sticker from Susan. Thank you very much, Susan. Let me
Super
what am I trying to
sticker.
do? Follow.
Thanks, Susan.
There we go. Thank you very much, Susan. I deeply appreciate that. Darlene says, Gavin, I don't know if you've already talked about it. Stephan STERNS also said that we dropped her off at school. Do you think they talked about that before calling the cops?
Yeah,
I think the we is, yeah, they had some sort of, whether Jennifer knew it or not, some sort of conspiracy. He told her, this is what happened. This is what we should tell the police. And she probably was like, yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I think the cops already, like, not only the cops but us, we already know that we need to just take that off the table now. I think Jen used we quite a bit, even besides the whole scripting portion. Now we know that it was scripted because every time we hear duh 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 duh, it's word for word, right? The this, the that, the leash, every time they tell the story. And someone asked earlier about the timeline, right? You guys asked about the timeline and said Jennifer's timeline is just nonsense. And I've gone over the timeline. Grizzly just did a really good timeline the other day. And so yeah, we've talked about that, but I think Jen uses we more as a way to not be alone. I think she used that quite a bit to keep herself together with Stephan as a couple, and how she tried to portray to people that Stephan was Maddie's stepdad. Many people still think that it was her boyfriend or the stepdad. I'm watching these things, Krista, and I'm seeing many content creators that haven't dove deep into this case that are still calling Stephan her stepdad, and they do it through the whole video. They still call it the ex-boyfriend or the boyfriend. Little did they know they weren't even together at the time. So I think that was a way for her to validate her relationship with Stephan and keep that validated. And she used we quite a bit, not just for the scripting. So yeah, let's keep going. Hit the like, y'all.
Oops. It just refreshed. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. Yep. Crazy Cat Lady, you were correct there. Go back up.
That too.
Wow, so much. Hybristophilia is the psychological term for women attracted to inmates and convicts. Okay. Yeah. I think I got to talk to Beth about that. Bobby, Gavin, while there are so many aspects to this case, I just can't help but think this is another example of how mental health crisis. Yeah, I see what you're going to say. Oh, real quick. Well, I'll get back to you, KC32. You know, Gavin, Red Skeleton laughed at his own jokes too. My father-in-law is a character, guys. All right, KC32 says, kind of hard to believe.
They are both monsters, by the way. He is a monster. She is a monster. And no matter what, she did not protect her daughter. And she validated Stearns and doing whatever he really wanted. So, yeah, he wasn't a stepdad. He wasn't a boyfriend at the time. He wasn't a husband. He's actually nothing. He was the groomer that assaulted and ultimately took Maddie's life, is what he was. And I want to correct these creators every time. Not in a bad way. Just like, hey, dude, like, check this out. I even see Stephan's name being spelled wrong, which is funny. Many times people spell it wrong or they say it wrong and it drives me nuts. But it's just because we're just so into this case and we want to see it be brought to justice.
Believe she was manipulated when she's the one who said she didn't think Stephan Stearns was very smart. Well, that's a good comment.
Possibly.
Tony Miller, Gavin, would they delay the SA trial in February? In my experience, the likelihood that the trial will happen in February is almost nothing. It's infinitesimally small. They have to put the trial on the calendar, but there's so many motions and so much investigation that has to go through before a trial can happen. It just probably will not happen. That is my guess. Okay, we're running low on time, so let me just scroll down here. We got Susan. Thank you for that super. All of these comments are just amazing. Thank you all. Thank
you. If there's any more
Madeline,
comments,
Soto, it's pretty much if you're a true crime.
All right, so we're not gonna. You guys go. A lot of you guys are already subscribed to Gavin, so that's awesome. I appreciate you guys for all the crossover people that come to my channel from Gavin's or go from mine back to his, and then to Grizzly. I see you guys all day long when I'm watching trials, etc. But I mean, yeah, I think this today was funny. It was funny to start the conversation out talking about why are we talking about this monster's junk. And I did want to talk. I still want to talk about it. If I ever get the FOIA request back that's fully like that, I'd love to see what the tiebreaker is on this topic, whether it does look like an appendage with or a thing with appendages on it, or a big pink spot. And he probably has a micro peenie, like what do we call it, a wee wee. And thank you, Jamila, for the $2.99 super sticker. But there were some really good topics today that we talked about, questions and things that can be theorized. But what I really hope for are two things. One, obviously, that they find concrete evidence that can arrest Jen for something, whether it be that they see in her bank account that she was collecting money from the CSAM, or that she was involved in any way with any of it, including the taking of Maddie's life. Sharon Belko, good to see you. Happy Friday to you. So that, and then bringing Stephan to justice. I think the death penalty would be the only thing that would make me happy, and thankful and grateful. I love your picture. I love the pictures today. I can see the pictures today because I made them bigger. So Katie Bug just subbed up. Nice to meet you. I'm glad you caught alive. Sassy Cassie. A lot of people are spelling atrocious today, and that's okay. I see a lot of errors now that I can see the comments really big. All right, you guys. Well, Krista Cameron, you caught me and then you didn't. But tomorrow I want to come on at noon before everybody gets 12 o'clock my time and 3 o'clock Eastern time. I don't know if you guys are into it, but I want to go over some more of the Jamie Komorowski case and the phone calls, because more phone calls are going to come out soon. And when they do, I want to make sure that we're caught up. So if you guys are interested, come back tomorrow at 12 Pacific time, 3 Eastern, 1 Central or Mountain and 2 Central. Yes, a weekend, Lynette. I really do. I want to get some of that stuff done. And yes, Jamila, your picture is bigger. I can see you. I can see you guys this time, and I can actually read your comments. I wanted to make sure that you guys were able to talk today, get questions in, comments, etc. And sweetie, yes, I'm gonna have a good time with my family. Pick the daughter up, and shout out to you, Sonia, from Australia. Off topic, do you have any interest in the Adnan? I do have an interest in the Adnan Syed, or however you say that. This case, Syed Adnan. Yes, I do. But I feel like they're letting the wrong person out. I'm true crime all the time. So if you want to send me something, do it at guiltyofcrimebyj@gmail.com. And I'd be interested in hearing what you have to say about Adnan's case. I do think that they have the right man, but if you can convince me, please do. Good night, everybody. Good night, Lucky and Jamila and Leanne and Nicely Done and Foxy. And thank you guys all. Thank you all for the support today. Hit the like button and subscribe, and then share with your friends and your community. All right. Jazz says, I hope I get a notification. See you tomorrow. Well, it's already out there, Jazz. I already put the show out there for 12. So go check your notifications because it's out there now. So I don't think I'll put it out in the morning again, but I'm going to go get the baby, and the dogs are barking. So I love you guys and have a wonderful night. I'll see you guys soon. All right. Let's get this outro. Last time I didn't set it.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty of crime?